everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Bloom with Grace. My name is Grace and on this space we talk about faith, purpose, relationships, lifestyle, and every other awesome content that gets to inspire you one way or the other. So if you're someone who's looking for a community to grow in your faith walk, or you want to navigate purpose in life, live the way God has designed you to live, this is the right place for you. Or someone who wants to build healthy and strong God-centered relationships, this is as well a good place, a safe place for you to be. And so do not make it your last. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back again. And in today's video, we are going to be debunking certain myths about purpose, since one of our major value or core value in this community is to navigate purpose. So it's important that we know what purpose is and what it is not. I want to believe that purpose is one of the most misunderstood topic, especially in our own generation. So since we want to navigate purpose the right way, it's important that we actually know what it is and what it is not. And in my last video, if you've not checked it, you can check it out. In my last video, I talked about what purpose is, but more extensively, we're going to be diving into it today to know what purpose is, what it is not, and how you can work in purpose and every other good things that come, or benefits that comes with fulfilling purpose. And so without further ado, let's get right into the video. First and foremost, let's establish purpose more extensively, and let's take a look at a manufacturer and a product. Let's say, for example, a pen. A pen is a product and it was made by a manufacturer, and the manufacturer made the pen for a particular purpose or reason, because for every product that is being made, there's usually a reason behind it. There's usually a need to be met before the product comes into play. And so it means that if manufacturer has discovered a need for something and needs a product or a service to meet that particular need, and that is where a product or a service comes into play. So let's look at this analogy of a pencil or a pen that was manufactured. It was manufactured to write. However, we can use pen for many other things. Sometimes you can use it to even stir something quickly, or you can use it to plug in something to your socket. You can use it to even sometimes clean your hair. A lot of us are guilty of that. But mind you, that is not the original intent of the manufacturer when he was creating or producing that product. He or she manufactured it to write. And so we can also say that God is our creator. The Bible establishes that He created us in His own image and likeness, and He created us for His pleasure, for His glory. And so if God has designed man, for every single man that God created, He created us for a purpose, for a reason, to meet a particular need. Let's look at Jeremiah 1 verse 5 that says, before I formed you in my womb, God was telling Jeremiah that before I formed you in your mother's womb, I have known you, I knew you, and I ordained you as prophet to the nation. So we can say that Jeremiah was primarily ordained as a prophet to the nation. That is his primary purpose. And this is to say that every single one of us, including you who is watching me, God created you for a purpose. You're not just here by accident, you're not here by mistake. There is a reason why God created. And so with working a purpose means you're living according to what you have been designed for. And so because a lot of people might have a lot of misconceptions or myths about purpose, sometimes we can say this is what purpose is. At the end of the day, it is not purpose. That is why we're coming up with this video to exactly debunk those misconceptions and say this is not, because you can easily mistake something or another thing for purpose, and at the end of the day it is not. So number one myth or misconception that I would say a lot of people have about purpose is saying that my job is also my purpose. Like your job title, maybe you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're an architect, you're a lawyer, or even an entrepreneur. You can say, oh, just by being in that line of profession that you're fulfilling purpose. No, your purpose is not just your job title. However, you can fulfill your purpose in the line of your duty. You can fulfill your purpose in the line of your profession. Basically, what I'm trying to say is people get jobs so that they can be paid, because you need money to meet your needs. However, in the line of your job, you can fulfill God's purpose for your life. There's an example of there's a story of a woman I heard who is a nurse, and God had told her that she is also a midwife, and so God had told her that for every delivery, it's beyond just a job for her. It's beyond just the profession of delivering the women of their babies. It's more about interceding for them, for the mother and the child, defining the course of their life in the place of prayer and intercession. And we can say that the woman, she's doing her job professionally, which is to deliver the women of their babies. But at the same time, in the line of her job, or in the line of her duty, she's also fulfilling God's purpose for her life. So this is first to establish that your job or your job title, whatever it is not necessarily your purpose. Your purpose is deeper than that. However, you can fulfill your purpose while still doing your job. Number two, purpose is not a fame, it is not success. It is not because you have affluence, or because you're influential, you're popular. That is not what purpose is. There are a lot of people who are not famous, who are just in their own secret place or in their own place of primary assignment, and they are fulfilling purpose. So it is not about fame. It's not about being successful in your career. It's not about being successful in business. It's not about being successful in whatever venture it is, whatever it is you term success in life. That is not exactly what purpose is, because you can even be fulfilling purpose while you're not famous, while you're not being known. Let's take, for example, intercessors. For example, these are people who fulfill purpose. I mean, they birth other people's destinies, and they just live a quiet and simple life that most people don't even get to hear about them, and they're fulfilling their own purpose. So do not be after fame or be after affluence, because if I get famous, or if I blow, like people say, then I'm fulfilling God's. In fact, God in heaven will be happy with me. No, that's not necessarily what purpose is. Purpose is it's not about fame. It's not even about you in the first place. Number three is that purpose is not a seasonal thing. It is what is eternal. It's like a journey for you. It's not, in this particular season of mine, I'm fulfilling purpose, or in this particular season, then I'm doing something different. Why we can go through different seasons of life, or seasons can shift in our lives. I mean, there were times that we were children, like you were a baby, you were a child, you became an adult, you became a wife or husband, then you became a father or mother. So there are seasons in life, but your core essence, or the reason why you were designed, remains consistent through all of those seasons. Yes, while your assignments can change, or your roles can change, even as we go through different seasons of life, right? But your purpose, which is to glorify God, which is to reflect Christ, or which is to love others, still remains consistent. So do not chase purpose as, I want to get to a destination, or do not chase purpose in certain seasons and say, okay, I'm done here, let's move to what's next. No, your purpose is a journey in the course of life. So it means that even from when you were born, the purpose starts. So even when you graduate to a toddler, a child, an adult, your purpose is always consistent in the middle of all this. Let's look at Jesus, for example. His main purpose was to come into the world to save the world by dying. And so even while he knew his purpose and he fulfilled it, there were times that he had to learn as a child. Like there were times that he would go to the temple and learn with elders. There were times that he himself had to become a teacher, that he was training others, recruiting followers. There was a time he had to be persecuted. There was a time he had to die. There was a time he had to go into the grave. In fact, even in death, Jesus was still fulfilling purpose, and there was a time he resurrected. So in all of these seasons of his life, he had different roles or different assignments or responsibilities that played out in his life, but the purpose in its entirety still played out, which is that he came to die to save the world from sin. So your purpose is not seasonal, it is eternal, and it remains consistent throughout the journey of your life. So number four, still debunking misconceptions about purpose. Purpose is not what you invent, it is what you discover. It is because you are not the manufacturer, so you do not invent your purpose. It's just like a clay saying whether to the manufacturer, saying to himself that I'm going to become this, or I'm going to mold myself into this. No, the purpose is not what you invent by yourself. It is what you discover. It is what is already in you. It is what the designer or the creator already planned out. It is what he already designed and placed on your inside. All you need to do is discover it. I mean, there are people who say, okay, I'm going to craft out this life, or they begin to picture a kind of life for themselves, saying, oh, this is a perfect life for me. And so you hear people say, okay, maybe even for our parents, they do this a lot, like saying, oh, when I give birth to my child, this is what I want my child to study, so that he or she can become this or that in future, so that they can take care of me, so that they can do this, they can do that, they can become popular, or I'll become a mother or father of famous child, and all of that. So this is we trying to create for ourselves purpose, or trying to invent purpose for ourselves, which doesn't work that way, because you're not the manufacturer, you're not the creator, you did not design yourself, God did. And so if you're going to work in that purpose, you will need to discover it from the manufacturer, and which God had already put inside every one of us. So for people, maybe there are some people even unknowingly, they are not conscious of themselves that they are even fulfilling purpose. They think that they are not fulfilling purpose, and they are already, because there is this picture they have in their head that this is what purpose is for. Take for instance, maybe in an organization, why we have different people with different roles coming as a team to achieve one single goal or purpose. Some people who may not be at the top, like the forefront of that cause to achieve that purpose, they may begin to think to themselves that they are not useful, they are not relevant, because they are not at the forefront. So even where you are right there, you are contributing your quota to fulfill the goal of the company or the purpose of the company. So you don't, even people are unaware, people who are fulfilling purpose in their own private place or primary place, they are even unaware that they are fulfilling purpose, because they have crafted out for themselves a particular picture of what purpose is for them. Another example is maybe in a church. We have people who are usually on the altar, who are usually seen every Sunday. I mean, you go to church, these are the people you see on the pulpit every day, like the pastor or the choir, the minister, whoever is coming up to the pulpit or to minister. These are the people. Some people may begin to think they're influenced because, okay, maybe they are the ones in this in the, is it sanitary department now, or like sanitation department, that they are the ones cleaning, making sure that the church is okay for everybody, or comfortable, or convenient for everyone to sit, or conducive for everyone to come in and hear the word of God, be blessed and go. So while you may think that, oh, you're in that department, you're not fulfilling purpose, and God sees that you've contributed your own quota to the success of that particular service. So people can be ignorant that they are actually fulfilling purpose because they don't actually know what God has put in them or what God has designed for them. So it's important that you work with your creator to fulfill your purpose. And so while we've debunked that, what exactly is purpose for you? Purpose is what God has created you for. It is what He designed. It is the reason for your existence. It is the reason why you are living. And in most cases, your purpose is usually linked with impact. What do I mean? In purpose, in most cases, usually require you to serve others other than yourself. Yes, if there is anything you consider purpose that requires you just serving yourself alone, like it's all about you, what you can get, what you can receive, you might want to think twice. It's most likely not purpose, because purpose is usually affiliated or associated with impact. It requires you serving others. Look at Jesus, for example. When He was on earth, He served His disciples. He served many other people, healed the sick and raised the dead. So it wasn't about Him. Right? Even His own primary purpose, come and die for the world, it was not about Him. There was a point where He got tired and almost gave up, and He said, God, if it be your will, let this cup pass over me. Knowing that Jesus did not come to this world just for Himself alone. In fact, He left His glory to come to die for us. So your purpose is usually affiliated with impact, influencing others, whether with your skill, your talent, your character, right? It is usually related to impact. So to wrap this whole topic up, I would say purpose is revealed in God's presence. It is revealed in your Maker's presence. It is revealed when you start a relationship, you build a relationship with your Maker, because He has placed it on your inside. And the only way you can discover that is for you to know the will of your Creator, the will of your Maker. So it requires you to build a relationship with God, start with Him, stay in His presence, right? You get to know, as you stay and fellowship, you get to know what His will for you is, especially through His word. You get to know what He has designed you for. And also for you to also discover your purpose. Sometimes God hides, He puts our purpose in our passion. It is not to say it's everything you're passionate about that becomes your purpose eventually, but sometimes you may want to think within you, what is that thing that bothers you, that gives you so much burden in your heart? What is that thing that makes you cry? What is that thing that when it just makes you uncomfortable, at unrest, because there is something that there's a passion God has placed on you. So in most cases, or most times, your purpose is usually hidden in your passion. So you might want to also find out what you are passionate about. It is not to say that it's every passion that eventually becomes your purpose, but sometimes God puts your purpose in your passion. So you may want to check also what are the things that bother you. It could mean that there is a purpose for you him there. And so your purpose would also require you to obey, stay obedient to God. And in most cases also it will require you to stay away from your comfort zone. Yes, even Jesus Christ, to come die to the for the world was not comfortable for him. So our purpose, or discovering or working in purpose, sometimes it deprives us of our comfort just to fulfill that purpose or the reason for which God has created you for. So it will require you to be intentional. It will require you to be obedient, fully obedient to God's word or whatever God is calling you to. So please, purpose is not a destination for you. It's a journey that God wants to walk with you through it to achieve that aim or that purpose, which is to glorify Him, right? And so if this blessed you or inspire you, I want you to give this a thumbs up, give it a like, so that other people who needs to see this would get to see it. Also, I want you to put your thoughts in the comments. Share with me what you learned or what you discovered newly today, or what you'll be going up with, and also a step of action that you'll be taking towards all of the things that you have heard. And so please head over to head over with the link of this video so you can share with someone who may need this. Until I come your way again, keep blooming. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.